In this video, we will show the use of the Troop 566 Mistral knot rack and how to tie the knots on it quickly. When racing, the knot must only be tied correctly and does not have to be pretty or tight. There are usually 2 watches available with the stopwatch feature in our group for timing. Each scout's time is recorded and noted on the troop roster. Multiple attempts are encouraged and all times are recorded. Camping parents are encouraged to learn the knots and race for time as well. Improving your time is only allowed when everyone has completed their first time or when no line exists. The rules are simple. The clock is started when you touch the first rope. You may tie them in any order, but most people do it from left to right. While the clock is running, you may fix any of your knots. The clock stops at 2 minutes or when you declare you are done. The timer and judge will check all of the knots. Any knot tied incorrectly requires going to the end of the line for a complete do-over. The timer judge will then record the score on the roster. The first knot in the series is the square knot. Square knot is a quick way to tie 2 ropes together. To tie the square knot, you take the right end of the rope and you twist it over the left one. You now take the new left end and you twist it over the right. Like that, and you've tied the square knot. It can be quickly released and thus it is not safe where staying joined together is important. A common mistake with a square knot is tying the second knot right over left again. This is known as the granny knot. It doesn't look as even as the square knot. To fix a granny knot, all you have to do is untie the second half of the knot and retie it with left over right. Again, to tie the square knot, you go right over left, and then you take the new left and left over right. Before you tighten this knot or any other knot, make sure to check that it is correct. The second knot in this series is called the sheet bend, as shown here. The sheet bend is used to tie 2 ropes together that are of differing sizes. To tie the sheet bend, take the larger rope and make a bend in it, like this. Then take the thinner rope and thread it in the center of the bend, wrap it around the bend, and then put the end of the small rope in between itself and the big rope, like that. And you tie it tightly. Again, to tie the sheet bend, you take the bigger of the 2 ropes and you make a bend in it, like this. You then thread the smaller rope in through the middle, around the bend, and then in between itself and the bend. The third knot in this series is called the 2 half hitches knot. It is used to tie a rope to a pole or a tree, like this. A hitch is a knot that ties a rope to something. Friction caused by the wraps of the rope holds the hitch in place. To tie the 2 half hitches, first take the rope and loop it around the object you want to tie it on. You now have this loop right here. You take the end and you wrap it inside the loop, and then you wrap it outside the loop. A good way to make sure if it's correct is that if you turn it around, you'll be able to see a clove hitch tied on it. A type of a clove hitch tied right here. You'll learn what a clove hitch is later on. Common failures are when the second loop is tied around in the same side, or both loops are tied around on one side. If this happens, just redo the second hitch. Again, to tie the 2 half hitches, wrap it around an object, then loop around itself once in the inside of the loop, and then once on the outside. It should kind of look like a pretzel before you tighten it. The fourth knot in the series is called the taut line hitch. It's a guy line adjustable tension knot. It looks extremely similar to the two half hitches. The taut line hitch is used to make a line tight or taut. It's the knot used to stake out the guy lines of a tent or a dining fly. This knot is special because it is adjustable. After you tie it like this, it takes one hand to loosen and two hands to tighten. For a stronger version, perhaps for a windy day, you can use two of these in series. To tie the taut line hitch, loop it around an object that you want to tie it around, and then you're still basically following the rules of the two half hitches. So you make one loop inside this wrap. The difference now is that you make a second loop inside that wrap before you go outside the wrap, like that. This would be what a taut line looks like, and you can move it around as you wish to make the loop tight with tension. Again, to tie the taut line hitch, you loop it, you wrap it around a pole or a tree or a stake, a tent stake. You then make one loop inside the wrap, a second loop inside the wrap, and then a third one outside it.